All right, hello everybody, and welcome back to a new price study, whatever, like diary. Actually, this is just for me, but I say hey everybody, it makes me sound like a YouTuber or whatever, right? But anyways, let's look at where liquidity lies on the daily time frame before we continue into next week. We're gonna focus on what I'll be looking for next week, and what I'll be expecting in price. So one of the things is this fair value gap here on the daily time frame. This imbalance has not been filled, and where we are currently at in the range, we're in a premium, but I'll mark it out on the fib just so you guys can see. I'm going to mark this relative equal high down to the sell side liquidity that hasn't been violated. So we're actually above the 50% fib level within this range, and so I'm expecting price to go and fill this or rebalance this previous imbalance, and then after that, I want to pay attention to it and see if it's going to reach for the liquidity here above these relative equal highs previously. Now, overall, we have seen like a very bullish structure. Let's actually go to the weekly time frame and just like get the idea. You can see that everything has been very bullish so far. We've seen very bullish price. We've seen a lot of lower prices. So regardless, those are the two levels of liquidity that I am expecting for this next week. Okay, I'm expecting price to reach back for that imbalance and then potentially even go for these relative equal highs and take out that liquidity. Now I am expecting there's also sell side below these relative equal lows as well, which was just taken. So we're really just gonna have to. I'm not gonna pick lows or highs. But we'll just pay attention to price throughout the week and see kind of where it goes. The biggest thing we'll do now is we'll go to the 15-minute, drop the 15-minute time frame, and then we'll also look at CPI from last week. Continue to make sure I'm on the right chart. Okay, 15-minute time frame. Oh, that's because all my drawings are off. All right, so this was CPI. This was the 8:30 open for the New York AM session. And we can see that crazy movement, which I did, highlight previously. I didn't necessarily study last Friday, so I'm actually gonna go over that right now. But what we'll essentially do here, just mark the range all the way to Friday's close. Okay. 16:30. Boom. Okay. One sec, actually. So I'm marking the close for New York, not the close of the day. Okay. We have that. We'll mark the range for the session. See kind of where price is at in regards to that. 8:30. Okay. And then lastly, 16:30. Just marking the New York and AM sessions. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and mark the New York lunch and make it nice and simple. Okay. All right. So here we go. Let's do some back testing, being that I didn't study this at all as it happened. So it's complete back testing. Okay. So the very first thing on the 15-minute time frame, we're going to focus on the prior lows, and we're going to focus on the levels of liquidity, right? So at the open, let's actually do this first. We'll focus on our power of 3, okay? So this was the original opening price right here. Okay. Right at this level. So this is really interesting to study this, and the reason why is what we saw from the open. Okay, we actually saw price. Hold on, let me just. This is kind of annoying because the candle is so small. But wait, let me make sure this is even. Hold on, make sure. Okay. Either way, price rallies. So we have accumulation manipulation. That's a false move. Okay, breaks down and then continues higher to the open. Now, right when we have our open here, so now we're gonna go ahead and mark the New York 8:30 open. Okay, just right here. Turn that green. This is also green, so I'll turn that green just to indicate that the opening candle was bullish. All right, so the event was at 10 a.m., so nothing, this far would have affected price. if we're actually looking at price here, we can see that initially before the New York Open, okay, here in London session, which being 2 to 5, we did have these relative equal highs, very, very clean highs. Price doesn't like this. Got to remember that, which are tapped into here and then actually finally fully violated after lunch, okay? So we'll mark this. Let me put it as the normal dash line, okay? Keep that green. This being a level of buy side liquidity above relative equal highs. And guys, this big red area, that's that fair value gap that I was saying on the higher time frame that I'm expecting it to go to. So that's what that represents. And we'll also now look for, different levels of sell side liquidity or different imbalances as well. So so we have this swing high, right? And then we have all this movement lower. Okay, we have that false move there. So where does liquidity lie? Well, we did have this, and guys, this is all before AM. Okay, we did have this short-term low, which was violated after the open. So below an old low. Okay, there's obviously going to be sell stops. Okay, so let me mark this as a red line here. Okay, so we have sell side liquidity below there. All right, and then we have these different imbalances, down here, which liquidity also lies in those. Like we can mark that. I wasn't going to because I can think of it in my head, but for the sake of back testing properly, let me just go ahead and go the extra mile. Mark these different imbalances that are then filled soon after in the session, and we'll paint them as yellow just to make it clear. Okay, we'll zoom in here. Should have everything right. Okay, so we had this imbalance here that was rebalanced after the open. Okay, we also had another imbalance that was created below here. Okay, right here, that was rebalanced as well. So we have these two levels of liquidity where price was delivered fairly, and so that liquidity was taken, and those imbalances. We also had it down here. Okay, so after open, okay, we do have price retrades higher after all this down movement all the way into the open. Now we can see 10 o'clock, which was the event here, 10 a.m. That created massive bullish volatility and also creates fair value gap. And before that, okay, we had the 9:30 candle right here, okay, that we'll pay attention to that further on the smaller time frames, but we can see that it was very volatile. Okay, so as far as where liquidity lies here, liquidity on these down moves, there's no order blocks, there's no change in the state of delivery. It's really just one large price leg lower. What I would be focusing on is these imbalances and focusing on prior to the open where those levels of liquidity were. Okay, so after the open, we can see price first trades into that prior imbalance, then trades into this imbalance. All right, goes for those stops. Okay, goes for the stops that are just above these prior highs, and we have massive volatility at that open. So these mainly being our points of interest so far, or the things that I notice as of now. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and drop down to the 5 minutes to look at it in a more refined lighting, and we'll look at the afternoon in a second. Okay, but regardless here, we can see it's no different. Now, what is different is we can see that there are order blocks. We can see that there are different things. So we have liquidity below this low. We have all these relative equal lows. Like we have these relative equal lows that's violated. Okay, price. Then we have this short-term high right here. We have this short-term high here. Okay, price trades above that short-term high, and we'll see this when it's more refined, but it trades back into that after it displaces higher. When does it displace higher? After violating the short-term high? Well, it does it at 9:30. It then trades back lower, okay, and gives us that opportunity. Now, this is on the 5 minute, so it's still not very refined, but we'll continue, looking into that. The biggest thing that, we can see here is the different liquidity levels that price is reaching to, which are the ones I just highlighted. Which firstly, we have these lows that were violated on that down move. We have these different fair value gaps that were created. We have price trading into those with these relative equal highs. These are all key levels that we could pay attention to. So let's go ahead and drop down into we're going to drop into the 3 minute time frame. I need to just buy trading view so I can switch to the intervals that I want. But regardless, okay, so here we are. We got the 3 minute. Okay, and let's go ahead and look at what I was just explaining. All right, so I'm gonna mark that previous high. Okay, I'm gonna draw it out. Okay, boom, boom. Okay, and then here we go. Okay, so looking at this here, okay, we can see this high being violated and then trades into this imbalance before going higher. Yes, it's just the wick. Yes, it's not the main volume, but it still trades back into that fair value gap. So it takes that buy side liquidity, trades back into the this displacement higher, all these displacement moves, it trades back lower, okay, giving us that opportunity for an entry. And then overall, we are expecting price to reach for those levels of liquidity above, as we are still in a premium. And most people would have seen, oh, okay, prices are continuing lower, right? Like we have to really think, what does retail kind of view this as? Well, we have these relative equal highs. Price keeps bouncing off that bounce, 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 right? Okay, and then after that, we have these lows violated. So support and resistance. Oh, it's going lower. It keeps bouncing, bouncing, bouncing. Price continues lower. At one point, I believe that price was reactive to lines I drew on my chart, and that it's just going to respect those levels. I literally believe that too. But as we can see, we have these buy stops that were taken here. Okay, price trades lower. Okay, and then this all happens during the AM session, and a lot of this down movement happens afterwards. But regardless, that takes us all the way to the 8:30 open. Okay, we pay attention to this prior high to the left of the 8:30 open. Okay, there's liquidity above that. So after the 8:30 open, boom, boom. Okay. Oh, that prior high from that down move was taken. So now let's look for a shift in market structure. We have this displacement higher, these candles right here, which are very volatile. Okay, and we have price trade back into that imbalance and actually trading to the bottom of that order block prior to the up move. Okay, so let's go ahead and now view this on the most refined of them all, and we'll look at the 1 minute. Okay, we'll look at the 1 minute time frame. I really just wanted to highlight on the 8:30. I wanted to really start paying attention in my development. I want to pay attention to time and how these candles react, which is mainly why I'm highlighting so much on the 8:30, 9:30 candles here. Regardless though, okay, we have these levels of liquidity here. We have this fair value gap here. We have this, we're expecting prices to that we're in a premium, and we're expecting price to take those levels of liquidity, so we're expecting higher prices. Okay, this is just a simple down move, but we are overall looking for higher prices. For trades I'd be entering, I'd be looking for higher prices. Okay, now regardless, it's the same thing. All these relative equal highs, super refined here. Look, liquidity even here. We have this short-term high that's taken out. Look at this. Same thing happens. Price is fractal, right? You want to look at this. Look. Boom. Okay. Look at all these relative equal highs right here. Okay, and look. What happens? We have these candles. Look at that. Relative equal highs, and boom, it shoots through right at 9:30. Look at that, okay? Right at 9:30. Okay, and then look. 10 o'clock. Look at this volatility. Okay, all that volatility, guess where it goes? It goes to our objectives from those higher time frame charts. It trades into that fair value gap. Okay, well, where's the next level of liquidity? Well, it was these prior relative equal highs from the London session, which then it trades to. All right, and then after that, okay, price trades lower before we go into lunch. So that liquidity is taken right here. Okay, and then after that, we see prices trade lower. So now we're looking at this. Okay, we have this low here, or this order block here. Okay, this is a previous low. All right, price trades lower, and there's no high that is violated here. Let's draw this out. Okay, let's just draw it out. Let me not make this more confusing than it has to be. So we have this low created. Okay, price continues lower. All right, just mark in the order block right here. This change in the state of delivery. See price trade above, but we see price continue lower. Okay, price then trades back to the bottom of that order block right here, and then continues lower. Now, personally, this isn't something I would take a trade on, but I think it's interesting to see this short-term low being taken out on the buy side. See price retrade up into it and trade lower. Now this would be something where if I had entered that, I don't feel confident in it enough yet. Maybe I haven't seen enough, but I feel like at that point I'd be forcing a trade. My confidence, I don't feel like that's specific enough. Okay, that's also in kind of a gray area, because for me, I'd be seeing, okay, these two imbalances have been rebalanced. Okay, this level of liquidity was taken, so we can expect that liquidity was taken. We can, expect price to show some resistance in the other direction, right? But ultimately, price rallies lower until all the way into the lunch hour. Okay, and that's mainly all I want to focus on for Friday. Okay, we know that price has continued higher. I could probably look for setups here, but that's really not the biggest thing. Okay, I just wanted to highlight on that. Okay, I wanted to back test Friday's price action, and then obviously in the afternoon, this high was taken out here. Okay, we have relative equal highs here that were taken out. Okay, but this is something for this. I'll just actually study this on myself. So the very last thing here, we're going to go ahead and pay attention to the news events for the current week. Okay, so from the 15th to the 20th, apply settings. Okay, so Monday, wait, give me 1 second here. Okay, all right, just making sure. So just making sure. Okay, 16th we have WEF annual meetings. And the biggest thing that we really have, or the biggest event, is going to be on Tuesday, which is the Empire State Manufacturing Index. We're going to pay attention to that at 8:30. We'll also pay attention to this, but I'm not really sure how much of an impact the WEF annual meetings have on price. For that, I'll just obviously look at the ICT Twitter, see if he says anything about it, see how relevant that is, and so on. And we do have these core PPI. I don't know what any of these events mean either, but on Wednesday we have these really high impact events, and then Thursday and Friday we have these orange folder events. Okay, we'll obviously pay attention to those things as price continues. But for the week, okay, what I'm focused on right now, we'll go back to the day before I close this off. The biggest things I'm focused on for the week are where is price likely to draw to? Where are these levels of liquidity? Okay, we see some resistance here, or we see a change in state of delivery. I mean, granted, this is this candle just started here, okay? But overall, these next levels of liquidity, it's unlikely that with us being in a premium right now, we just got into a premium. We're not really that far into a premium, okay? The next levels of liquidity are for price to rebalance this imbalance and take out those prior highs. I personally will be expecting and knowing that price is going to continue higher this week. And you'll be able to watch this as I continue these video diaries throughout the week. But the last thing here I want to say, I know I keep saying the last thing, but I'm going to make these videos a lot longer. I'm not rushing them. They're going to be long. They're probably going to be boring. I'm sure no one will watch them through, but my intention of doing these videos is literally to create a video diary. I want to record the entire process. I want to have something I can look back on, and for me to talk about it, that helps me learn a lot more. And for me to record it, that helps me learn a lot more. It's easier for me to do it than just go take notes. It's easier for me to sit here and talk about it and act as if I'm teaching it, even though I'm really not. It's a different level of learning for me to act as if I'm teaching it. So I want to just close off on that. That's the expectations for the week. That's what I'm looking for. And let's see if I'm right. If I'm wrong, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I learned something this week. I hope I fail this week. I hope I learn so much this week. I'm not really failing. I'm just learning. I'm growing as a trader. And I really want to be on top of everything this week. But we'll close off on that. And yeah, see you everyone.